God perpetually uses people that don't feel that they are good enough, or they're weak, or they're flawed for his ends. And this is a really great example of that.
Welcome to the Bible in 1 Year podcast, brought to you by two Brits and a Bible. This is day 18, and today we're covering Exodus chapters 1, 2, and 3.
In Exodus 1, the children of Israel multiply in Egypt, so Pharaoh attempts to kill them off so they aren't too powerful. In Exodus 2, Moses serves Pharaoh, then kills an Egyptian and flees. And in Exodus 3, God calls Moses from a burning bush to ask the king of Egypt to free the Israelites.
Smashing. All right, we've got a lot to get through today, some big chapters here, and so I'm just going to dive right in. And I'm going to dive right in with a thing that I think is a complete non-event, really, in biblical standards, and it's here in Exodus 1:15. The king of Egypt said to the Hebrew midwives, whose names were Shiphrah and Puah, "When you help the Hebrew women in childbirth, kill them," basically. What I pick out of that is how the king of Egypt doesn't get named, right? He's just the king of Egypt. But two Hebrew midwives are named in the Bible. Their names literally written here in the Bible. And what I love on that is it does not matter what social stance you have, where you are in social standings. If you are faithful to God, if you are true to God, that is what is important. The king of flipping Egypt doesn't even get a name in here, but these two Hebrew midwives get named in the Bible. How outrageous is that?
It's amazing, isn't it? And I completely agree. And it's going to link to something I wanted to say all the way down in Exodus 3, where Moses is sort of questioning whether he's the man for the job. God perpetually uses people that don't feel that they are good enough, or they're weak, or they're flawed for his ends. And this is a really great example of that. Absolutely. I just love as well just the fact that what God blesses, no man can stop, so Exodus 1:12, the more they were oppressed, the Hebrews, obviously the Israelites, the more they multiplied and spread. So there's nothing that you can do if you're Pharaoh. Now Pharaoh thought he was God on earth, right? That was part of the Egyptian culture, but still, just nothing you can do. And his best plan, killing all of the Hebrew boys, still isn't going to work. No matter how brutal it is, no matter how tyrannical, not going to stop God. Sorry.
Absolutely. And just what a crazy how faithful he is to Moses's mum, that she just puts her faith in God, sends him off down the river, like maybe he'll live. Turns out she still gets to raise him. And then, just so cool.
I can't believe that I was this days old when I learned that it's his own mother that gets to raise him. I was going to say about the fact that a Hebrew woman gets to nurse the baby, but I didn't. I need to rewatch. What's that Disney movie or whatever, The Prince of Egypt?
Yeah.
I need to get back on that to like brush up on. So it's his own mother that gets to raise him.
Yeah, because it's saying in there.
That's mind blowing.
Pharaoh's daughter went down to the Nile to bathe. She saw the basket among the reeds. Oh, no, sorry. Just before that, in chapter 2, verse 4, his sister stood at a distance to see what would happen to him. So she was the one that then went and was like, "Hey, I know a Hebrew woman that could nurse this baby for you."
Wow.
In order to be nursing, you must have just had a baby.
Right.
He goes back up, "Hey, mum, look who I brought home." Pharaoh's daughter's on board with it. It's so cool.
Well, there's 100,000 of them by this point. There's probably a few nursing mothers that could have done it.
Fair, probably had their babies.
What I'm gonna do a very quick behind the scenes for you listeners and watchers. So we do a little show notes just before each episode. Adam, why didn't you tell me that it was the mother? I was talking about this. I can't believe that. You were just saving it for me to blow my mind in the episode.
Yes,
I think.
Yes.
That is so cool. That is so cool. I can't believe how cool that is.
Yeah. Well, that's eaten into a lot more time. We're like halfway through, and we're about an eighth through of our show notes here. So
speed up.
Yeah. What else do we have to talk about? Pharaoh. Moses kills an Egyptian. That's premeditated murder. He looks both ways. and still kills a guy. He knows what he's going to do. God can use anyone, whether you're a murderer or not. What I quite liked is then it goes on to say how Pharaoh tried to kill Moses. Chapter 2, verse 15, when Pharaoh heard of this, he tried to kill Moses, but Moses fled. Now, if Pharaoh tries to kill you, or if Pharaoh wants you dead, I think you die. I don't think there are many people that Pharaoh tries to kill who just happen to get away.
Right.
It reminds me of the passage in the New Testament when Jesus is chased by a crowd and just walks through the crowd. That is God's hand on his life. I mean, there was a lot other than that, but just being able to escape Pharaoh trying to kill you, that's a miracle in itself.
It is amazing, absolutely amazing. I've noticed we're going for like speed notes here, and I think that's quite good.
I think we have to.
Yeah, no, I agree. Another thing that I was thinking is Moses says, I've become a foreigner in a foreign land. So after he murders, as we say, he flees, he becomes foreigner in a foreign land, Exodus 2:22. All the twos. And I just put that Moses has his own small exodus before the main one, right? It's interesting that he has committed these deeds. He goes off out of the culture that he's been raised in and raised around, and this is where God works on him most intensely before bringing him back.
Yeah. And he doesn't belong anywhere at this stage. No. He's not an Egyptian. He kills an Egyptian, but then the Israelites are taking the mick out of him and like chastising him for it. So he just is this complete outsider, doesn't feel like he belongs, doesn't believe in himself. And yeah, like you were saying, God still uses him.
Yeah. He says, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? Exodus 3:11. Using weak, flawed heroes. And then actually, honorable mention, I hope I'm not skipping the gun here, but is it skipping the gun? Is that the phrase? Anyway, jumping the gun. Yeah, jumping the gun. Anyways, magnanimous. But he, isn't it, he basically negotiates to have his brother Aaron involved as well. That's how weak he feels about it all.
Yeah, I think God just gets so hacked off them. He's like, fine, take Aaron.
And I love the fact that Aaron's just up for it. He's like, yeah, all right. Well, God spoke to you today.
Unsung hero. God says all this stuff to Moses. Moses is like, Aaron, come with me. He's like, all right.
He just does it.
Hero.
He just does it. I love that. And then just final thing I had was that God says that you will plunder the Egyptians. Exodus. Oh, that was 3:22. I'm sorry. It was 3:11 was before what I was talking about before.
Cool.
And I just said God makes sure they get something for their 400 years of slavery, even if it is just some clothes and a bit of silver.
Absolutely. Because at this stage, I don't remember if it mentions it in here or not, but Moses is 80 years old when God calls him from the burning bush. And again, I think I might have mentioned it yesterday, how it doesn't really matter how old you are, God can still use you. And so, yeah, no wonder he's doubting himself. He's this old man who is going back in to lead this mass exodus. But yeah, I do enjoy actually. We've mentioned before we're doing this as part of a Bible in 1 year reading plan with a group of other people. And someone had mentioned on there how it's kind of a similar story in a way to how earlier on in Genesis, God is seeing the plight of his people and actually steps in to save them, I think in the Sodom and Gomorrah stuff. And in this one, God is hearing the cry of his people. Like God is there. God is hearing the troubles that we're going through. God is hearing our prayers. He's hearing when we call out to him. He doesn't necessarily respond immediately or when we want him to. It's his timing, but he does hear us. He does see us. And I think people might just need to hear that today.
Hallelujah, man. Yeah, I needed to hear it if no one else. So, I think that probably mostly wraps up my notes and I think yours. So that speed notes thing did kind of work for us.
What do you know? Now we can just chat useless. We do that for 10 minutes every day.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Well, I guess another shout out really to people that are listening. We appreciate you. If you do have any questions, like we mean it, actually reach out to us, ask us any suggestions, what have you, feel free. And Moses, bit of a lad, isn't he, really?
Good lad. An 80-year-old child lost in the wilderness.
Cool. So any questions, visit the Facebook page, 2 Brits and a Bible.
Or you can email us at 2britsbible@gmail.com.
Love it.
Sweet.